Welcome back to Primetime News. The man who was imprisoned for 50 years without going to court has been freed. George Williams was released after the Director of Public Prosecutions decided he was unfit to plead and that there was no one to give evidence against him.
After 50 years in prison without a trial and facing the court for the first time in less than 2 weeks, George Williams walked from the Spanish Town courthouse a free man today. The historic moment was captured by many ordinary Jamaicans who waited eagerly to put a face to the name. Sadly enough, many will remember him with the black eye he had after he was beaten a week ago by a fellow inmate in the St. Catherine Adult Correctional Center in Spanish Town. Despite that, his family was all too happy to start the process of catching up on the many decades they've missed out with him.
We're just going to have fun. First, we're going to take him to the church, let him know the do's and the don'ts. We're just going to try and make up life so quickly with him. Make him live back his childhood days, his manhood days, We're just going to be there for him. We're going to love him. We're going to treat him right. We're just going to do the best for the little life that he has left out here with us.
Well, I'm looking forward for the next the period of years left because he is the first. He will be the oldest of 8 now. The oldest one has died. So he'll be the oldest of 8.
This is the house in Ivy District in St. Catherine where Mr. Williams will settle after leaving prison. But after leaving the courthouse today, the family journeyed to Linstead for some catching up with people who were never born when Mr. Williams went to prison. His niece is one of those persons. Her husband is meeting Mr. Williams for the very first time.
Uncle George, this is my husband, Nigel Green. Yes. So you know that from now until all of us going to take care of you.
A celebration was planned for Mr. Williams. Now, this is the Zephyr Main Road heading to Ewerton. And while here at the Street Vibes pub is not where George will be spending the rest of his years, but this is where he'll be having his first home-cooked meal now that he's out. Mr. Williams suffers from schizophrenia and that he needed to be on medication. At times he looked lost, but at other times he asked about some of the changes that have taken place while he was locked away. We tried to have a word with Mr. Williams. How do you feel now that you are a free man? How do you feel, George?
I'm feeling a different feeling. Feel free, man. Feel free, Feel free of myself. In prison so much years and get me freedom.
How you want to spend the rest of your life?
Eat some good food and eat. I will say quite pleasure.
In court, the Director of Public Prosecutions decided to drop all charges against Mr. Williams, who was accused of murder, wounding with intent, and malicious destruction of property. The DPP says there was no need to pursue the matter because she checked and found no witnesses alive. That and the fact that after seeing him over 20 times, doctors say he was unfit to plead.
In light of the fact that he found that he was unfit to plead, then it means that he could not be what we call arraigned. We couldn't read the indictment to him and ask him to plead individually to the different counts. It would be fair to him. So in the circumstances, I use the other option that I can use under the Constitution, which is to enter and not a prosecute, which effectively discontinues the proceeding.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.